The Sketcho Show Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, up until now you've seen the creature perform the simple mechanics of motor activity, but for what you are about to see next, we must enter quietly into the realm of genius. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Damen und Herren, from what was once an inarticulate mass of lifeless tissues, may I now present a cultured, sophisticated man about town. Hit it!
The Sketchomatic Show.
That's right, the Sketcho Show podcast back again with a long overdue guest who I've known for over a decade now. She does everything on Big Boy's Neighborhood on Real 92.3. Yeah. She wears many different hats. She's been with the show for many a year, and Big says it best that he requires her to be there in order for the show to happen.
Hello.
I'm going to let her fill you in, and then we're going to get into the come-up and the origins of my special guest today. She's a lovely young lady, always effervescent and full of energy. I don't know where she gets it from, considering she has to wake up at like 3 in the morning.
Wow.
And go till, well, the sun goes down. Pretty much, right? Please welcome, without further ado, folks, Ani Caribbean.
Sorry, it feels weird not to come in like that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Ani, how are you?
Good, Sketch. How are you? That was such a nice introduction. I'm like, are you sure you're talking about the right person?
Yeah, of course I am. Listen, Ani, I want to start off right now with a long overdue podcast public apology.
Oh.
And I don't want to go too much into detail and put our shit out there like that, but there was a little of a spat that we got into about a year ago. And I want to say right off top, right off top, it was right at the beginning of the podcast because I wanted to have you on one of the first guests. And we got in a little disagreement, right? And I overreacted.
We both did.
You were just really trying to look out, and you were obviously at the end of the show, so you had been up for hours. I don't know what that kind of exhaustion feels like anymore because I don't have to technically be in the show like you do. You be present. I just have to work from home and edit and do stuff. So in a way, I kind of have it made in the shade. I don't want to say it's easy. It's just I don't have to be here physically like you guys do, right? And when I came in, I could tell when you're tired. I known you for long enough. I know when you're exhausted. I know when Big's exhausted. I can just see it. And my mom used to say when I was tired, I'd get punchy. There's times where you seem a little punchy, not in a bad way. It's just I know you're tired, and you were just trying to offer me. Yeah, you're like you're hallucinating. But I remember like you were trying to offer me some advice, and I just took it wrong, and I took it personal. And I want to say I'm sorry about that. I was in a really weird place. It wasn't like I was mad at you. I don't know what it was. I feel like I was stressed out and I was projecting onto you, and you didn't deserve that because you were really just trying to look out for my best interests, and I took it way too personal. What I should have said, woulda, shoulda, coulda. In retrospect, Ani, I should have just been like, Ani, thank you. I'll look into that. That's what I should have just left it as. Instead, I just went on, and I don't know why I do that sometimes. Probably because you're like a little sister to me. And I feel
that's really sweet. I'm sorry. I didn't expect it.
Well, I was planning on telling you this, and I wanted to get it out of the way just because it needs to be addressed. You know what I mean? Like I'm a grown man, and you don't deserve shit like that, especially from your teammate like me and your friend. It's not that I went crazy. It's
not
just like I got heated about something that really wasn't that big of a deal. And like I said, in retrospect, I know it was coming from a good place of love.
But I did overthink it after. I was like, dude, that was wrong. I probably shouldn't have. When you replay that conversation, I'm like,
oh no, I played it for a year in my head. Every time I saw you, I was like, damn, I just felt so bad. And I was so, hubris, pride, to be like, well, no, she's wrong. I knew it right away when I got home that day. I was like, you know what? You're going to have to apologize to her, like at some point. And I just, I procrastinated, I waited. And that's me, that's on me.
Team effort thing. It's two people. And thank you very much. But I also feel like I was in the wrong too. So you shouldn't just be the only one apologizing.
Well, thank you for that too. And I'm glad we were able to reconnect and regroup with our friendship and just working together. It's like, facts are this. We work hella great together as a team. And I know that people in the show, just like within every show, with every business, there's a little butt head sometimes. You butt heads sometimes.
Of course.
And I don't like confrontation, especially with people like you who are my team, like from the neighborhood. Yeah. And Big will say it, I've gotten into a lot of shit over the years since I've been with the show, since the days at Power early on. I was a fucking lunatic back then.
I mean, you were young though.
I was young. You're young, but I was I drank too much. I did way too many party favors, and it plays a part. Well, not the weed part of it. Like I'm talking about the hardcore shit, right? Ooh. The stuff that makes you like irritable after and you're hungover. And I would eventually start taking things out on people around me because of my own dark demons. And they didn't deserve that. So now that I'm sober, I mean, from alcohol and all the other the hard party favor stuff.
That's amazing.
I'm like, I see everything like for what it is and what it should have been. And it's just, it's a blessing. It's a gift to be able to look back and see it in hindsight and go, man, I need to correct some things and acknowledge it and to be the bigger man, not just be like, it's all my fault. I was wrong. I know other people have their faults as well, but
it's my fault too.
Well, just, a tiny, tiny smidgen compared to how I reacted. That's what made it crazier was the reaction. Instead of just responding, I reacted.
But I'm sure I could have also responded a different way where it could have also
that's true.
Both of us.
It's all good, but you know what? I'm so glad that you're here now, Ani. And I missed you. We didn't really talk a lot. It was, not at all, but that's on me because I just was so... I guess I was just mad, and I was like, what are you mad at? Like, what are you seriously mad at? She was just trying to give you advice about something that may help you. And it's not like she was talking shit about your mom or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was devastating or detrimental. It was just, I don't know. I don't know where that agitation came from, but I wanted to publicly apologize to you, Ani.
Thank you, Sketch. I really didn't expect this at all. I didn't expect
I know you didn't. And that's why I wanted to surprise you with at least something that we can address, and as we're friends, and oh, you do? Is it because it's cold in here?
No, because that's very sweet, and plus I don't know how to respond when people say really nice things.
Well, I'm giving you your flowers as you deserve them. That's all.
To get them. Yeah. Thank you.
You're receiving audible flowers, as Big would say. I give the flowers to the people that matter to you before they're not here. Don't give it to them after. Give it to them while they're here. So this is me giving you your flowers. All right.
Thank you. I want to give you yours too.
Oh,
I'm like, damn, but I feel like it's really cheesy to go back and forth.
No worries. Well, you give me flowers in other ways all the time, just by being a part of the show and being on top of your shit. That's giving me flowers because I don't have to worry. You know what else is giving me flowers? Your audio. When I make promos and the LA song for the show, there's no doubt. I know when I go to an Ani segment, I'm going to laugh. There's going to be something funny, something that you're energetic because you're so energetic on the show. And I love how your enthusiasm, I should say, when you're really excited, you talk really fast.
Yeah,
right?
My mom's friends are like, why does she talk so fast? Like, tell her to slow down. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I like when you do that. And then I also like when you're like, who did I say that reminded me of you the other day? Oh, yeah, it was, Barbie. You're tiny Barbie. But the one girl on... the actress on Ted Lasso, her name's Keely Jones on the show, but she's British. She's UK.
Hi, Keely Jones, the independent woman. Would you please repeat what you just said?
And but her can you do a bit of UK?
I can speak from like the British people over there.
Oh, nice. Do you ever want to talk on the air like that with Big?
I don't. But what I did yesterday is I actually talked in my little Russian and English Armenian accent, and I was like, hello, how are you?
Is that like your dad?
Yeah, I was just thinking about dad.
Can't your dad burp really loud?
Isn't that
he can cough. Cough really loud.
He can cough, or no, sneeze. When he sneezes, you just look at him and he's like, oh, it's about to happen.
Okay, but your enthusiasm on the show and the Keely Jones similarity of enthusiasm. I like when and I'm going to probably play a few clips. I have a ton of samples. Yeah! But you'll hear them when the show is published. But man, your enthusiasm when it comes to when you're like, oh, and Big, I'm gonna it's like you're thinking so fast and the words aren't coming out at the same speed.
What you got, Ani?
Okay, so this is what I want to do, right? My birthday's coming up, and I was like, oh my gosh, how can I go in with a bang, not out with a bang, right?
Right.
One way to go. Exactly.
It's not like you're stuttering. You're just like, oh my God, like you're just like, there's so many words, it's like a ball of words coming out at the same time, but you're trying to put them in order.
I want want to go skydiving, and I
Right.
want you guys to come with me. Like, we'll jump from a plane together. It takes
That's what
about 90
skydiving
seconds.
is.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
takes
you
90
definitely don't jump from a Nissan Sentra.
I think
exactly what it is
it's
in my
so
head.
adorable. I think it's adorable because you have like this. It's the enthusiasm, and you're still enthusiastic about radio as you were when I met you. You were 18 when you got in.
Yeah.
18.
Yep.
I mean,
18 and a half.
and
That's
your
what I always tell
and
myself.
your birthday just passed, right? It was
It
July 5th,
did.
July 5,
July 5.
and you've been with the show for how long now?
With the neighborhood?
Yeah.
From 20, with the neighborhood, okay, not full-time, but even when just part-time, I think it was 2013 or 2014. It was 2014. Yeah, 2014 is when I got it. And I was just doing like the board for the national show. So nobody was there at the time. And I was also actually covering Ray. So I was just like the part-time cover. And that was like during New Year's. So you had to be here at like, what was
3 in the morning.
It was before 3, yeah. So I went to sleep at like right after New Year's. And then I was like, wake me up in an hour, you guys. And then
Wow.
I just knew though that year, I was like, all right, whatever happens, if I'm starting my year like this is going to be crazy. Like I just always saw the best in it. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. At least how the year should start. So it was just me and Vic 1 at that time, just in the morning because everybody was off during that time.
Yeah.
So I was in that little small room. I don't know if you remember that straight
Of
ahead.
course,
in the
I
hall.
worked in that room. I had I missed a full stop set nationally when we were on the other side because you got to the station when the station moved to the other side of the building.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
I was on the original side, and I remember Vic had a little prod room that he sat in that he ran the national board for the show when it was national, and you had to live and die by this clock. Like you had to hit everything at a certain time within seconds. Even like it was all very in sync. You know what I mean? Like there was no, as Jay Wright would say, no room for air, buddy. You know, no room for air, sketchy. And guess what? I fucked up. And this is years ago. This is lunatic sketch, but I was still at work and I'd still do the work and I'd show up, but I was always in a fog, you know, because I was always depressed and emo-matic and drinking and hungover. It was a disaster. Power was kind of like college to me.
Like the partying and the dorm.
Yes,
room.
it was just, and you can get away with it technically. I mean, I kind of got away with it. It wasn't something I'm proud of, but you know, and I had this conversation with Big. Big was like, all those tests are the things that gave you or that are allow you your testimony now. And it's true. And it's like, yeah, there were tests and I didn't pass them. I failed miserably, but because of those struggles and living through life struggles, it got me to where I'm at now, which, you know, I'm not totally sober. I still smoke weed. You partake in weed. You've told this on the show, right? And
You know,
I mean, that's a tool to me. But as far as drinking and the party favors, no more.
no more drinking.
No more drinking.
That's
It's been
amazing.
2 years, 8 months, and 11 days.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
oh
thank
my
you.
gosh.
Yeah, not bad, right? I
That
just
is
stopped.
amazing.
How do we get on this? Oh, yeah, because we're at the
Start.
station, right? And I missed the stop set. And I remember
What happens when you
I
do
just,
that?
I don't know. I don't really remember exactly. I just know Jason and Big were really upset.
Ooh.
And they didn't, what's crazy is they didn't yell at me at all. They just stayed quiet. And I was like, that was even worse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
that we
It was
did.
like no eye contact. There, I remember Big was, I was like, Sketch, go to the other room.
Oh my
And I was like, fuck. It's like the disappointment that I caused was worse than having the stop set miss. I mean, obviously, probably not worse in a sense of financially, you know what I mean? The endorsement money, whatever it may be, the money that was missed. Because when you miss a spot, but there's always make
you have
goods.
to make it up, but it's
Yeah,
still
you
not
have to
the
make-
same because then you're adding that into something
Yeah,
else.
so you're giving away free spots technically. So yeah, I fucked that up.
Damn.
I remember spilling a Coke on the board, like a Coca-Cola, not the drug.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
once almost spilled a coffee and I got so scared. I was like, no!
Yeah, it's the most terrifying. Have you had the dead air dream yet?
Oh, Big literally, I was like, whenever I first started here with Big, I'm like, you guys, in the middle of the night, my alarm went off, the first one. And then I woke up thinking that we're off the air because like I stopped it, so the music stopped. And they're like, you had the dream.
Yeah.
And then they explained to me that anyone who runs the boards has the dream, like where you think we have dead air.
Yep. That's when you know you're a true radio person. You
Or
have
like
to have the dream.
And when you're in the room and you hear like that spot just kind of like at the end, it's a dead spot and
Yeah.
everyone just stares at the computer like, wait, what just happened? And it's only the people who run the board, like Big, Jason, like you know who runs the board by
You.
the people who look at
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the clock, it's like a second of dead air in radio is like an eternity, especially when it goes on through. EJ didn't teach me a trick because I don't run the board anymore, but an interesting hack to that is if you have dead air and it's longer than, whatever, let's say it's 5 or 6 seconds, maybe in 10, you hit the dump out button. And that's like, I was like, oh man, I never even thought of that. And I've been in radio for 25 years.
Yep. I was waiting to see if you were going to say that.
Have you ever used that hack?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, sir, because I've had dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn after a while.
Yeah.
And then you actually learn a lot of other stuff where it's like my entire next gen just froze. When next gen is the system that you see everything going out of, all the music, everything that's supposed to come. So I also learned on my button bar to have an emergency button bar with all the music, all the legals, everything you need, because it'll freeze on you. It's a computer at the end of the day.
Do me a favor, Ani, get right up on that mic and let me just see something. Keep going.
See something.
Oh, yeah, that's way better. Can you kind of do it like that?
Yeah.
Just because the processors in here aren't the same as in big studio.
Oh, I
so
mean,
you kind of have to be like Joe Rogan on this, where you're like right there. Even he can be a foot away, but here it's like we're karaokeing. We have to be like, hello, right up on it.
Hi.
Yeah, now it's really clean, right? I'll fix it in post, but I want to make sure you're being, because you have such a feminine, effervescent, scintillating voice.
I use big words.
Well, I try to. I'm 45 now. I'm trying to act my age.
No, don't do it.
So getting into radio in general, Ani, how did it happen? What trajectory of career were you on? And you went to college, right?
Yes.
Okay. What college did you go to?
LA City College.
And you're originally from Armenia, right?
Yes.
But
I
you're
was born
Armenian and
there.
Russian, right? That's your combo? Or
I'm
is
technically full Armenian, but if you categorize us on the type of Armenian I am, just because we have different dialects, I'm Armenian Russian, but I don't have any Russian in me. It's just we were so cool.
Oh.
So the Soviet Union was in charge of Armenia until 91. So whenever it was there, like everybody had to learn Russian, the Russian food, everything was really Russian, everything.
Right.
So we are the Russian Armenians.
I
That's
see.
why.
But you have no Russian in you. Like,
No.
Okay, I got you.
But like
no
my
heritage.
dad went to university in Russia, or I had to go there before I came to America to like do the whole green card thingy and everything, because Armenia doesn't do it. You have to go to Russia. So we lived there for like a month in someone else's house. But yeah, I don't remember that.
That's crazy. So do you speak Russian?
Somewhat. Like I understand sometimes when my parents talk, because they speak fluent Russian.
Wow.
But like we would grow up listening to Russian music. So even Big sometimes will ask me like, oh, have you heard this song? And it's like an old school English song more. Whereas like if you did grow up here, you'd know it. And I'll be like, no, because my parents would listen to other stuff, not like the traditional music you think.
Right. I see what you're saying. And then you come to the States of America. How old are you?
3.5.
And you were...
Actually, I came in 96 September when Tupac got shot.
Holy crap. That's when I didn't graduate technically. I dropped out. But that's the year I would have graduated. And damn, and you just came to... Where did you first move to when you moved to America? Hollywood, California.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you in Glendale now?
No, I never lived.
Oh my God. This whole time I pictured you in Glendale.
No,
this
I
whole
hate
time.
Glendale.
You do?
We're totally different. Glendale Armenians are different.
Well, not just that. It's not because just the Armenians. I just always pictured you living there because it's close by.
Never.
And I knew you didn't live in Burbank, where the station is located. But I just figured, I don't know why in my mind, I just pictured
Everyone
you near
thinks
the
I do.
Americana Mall area. You know what I mean? I don't know. You just seem like you'd have your own little apartment loft there or something. But you still live with mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
With the folk and your brother.
Yeah,
right?
well, my brother doesn't live with us,
Oh.
but he has his storage, like his little store over there. So he's there basically all the time because it's open Monday through Saturday. But he lives with his friends, so.
I see. Okay, so it's just you and the folks.
Yep.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I still get treated like a baby.
Well, you are. You're the baby of the fam, right?
Yep,
As
I
am
love
I.
it.
I'm a baby too. My sisters treat me like they're my mom. They mother me.
I love
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah, they still. I'm 45, and my sister will come in from out of town from Nevada, and we'll meet up. And she's all, Christian, I brought you some like M&Ms. You know what I mean? And I'm like, thanks, Raina. Or she'll bring me like a stuffed animal. She brought me a Chewbacca toy one time, and it goes, and I'm just like, she still thinks I'm a kid, and I think it's very tender and sweet.
I love
Yeah.
that because
But
that makes you feel loved.
yeah.
It's special.
Does your brother do that to you? Does he like big brother you, or does he?
Oh,
Because I know
yeah.
I hear your stories on the air, and he kind of seems like he not bullies you, but he teases you a lot.
Oh yeah, so we grew up like that where he would tease me all the time, right? And I'd just be like, give me the control right now. But we'd always be like super cool because we'd always hang out, but we'd always fight. Or like he'd have a motor scooter and he'd be like, oh, do you want to check it out? Or he'd get a car, he'd be like, do you want to try my car out? And then, so he'd do really cool stuff, but at the same time, he was a guy who had guy friends. So he'd tease me, he'd be like, oh, you're really fat on you, you're covering the TV. But we would go back and forth, and I wouldn't back down. That's why I don't get offended off of a lot of stuff that people say, because I'm like, I grew up with a brother. Get out of here.
What's your brother's name?
Chris.
Can we say Chris? Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's my real name, or Christian. But
Well, see?
okay, so Chris, or is it Christopher or anything?
Well, Christopher is my cousin, but Chris is the English version. So it's really Khachatur.
Oh, what is it?
Khachatur.
Ooh, and what's your name in Armenian? It's Ani.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Just Ani.
I mean,
Hey.
Ani and your mom, do you look like your mom? You do, huh?
Yeah, everyone, Big
I saw the
her
picture
other day.
that you posted for your birthday. I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, she looks, it's like the mini her. You're the mini her.
Oh, thanks.
That's
See, we
so
never
cute.
looked alike, which is so, or I never thought we looked alike, actually.
That's so cute.
Like, Big actually saw her when we went to the comedy show in Vegas because my mom had come too. And she was, me and Big were walking together to the elevator because we had checked out the venue and everything. We were going to go get ready. And my mom was just walking around the hotel and we ended up seeing her. And Big's like, I saw you. He hugged her and everything. And after he's like, I knew that was her because she looked like you.
Did he go, oh? Did he do
Yeah,
that? That's where I got it from. That's all. I do that so much now.
I love it. I think it's so sweet and it just makes you feel all safe. Like, oh.
Yeah, but especially with young, like small little ladies like you. Because I have another friend named Noe over at Starbucks. She's a barista. And she's small like you. And every time I see her, I'm all, oh, like I can't help it.
Oh,
like immediately,
that's so
and now when I see you, oh, Ani, like it's just like you're so tiny.
Oh,
You know?
thanks.
How tall are you, Ani? You're 5'1".
Almost 2.
Oh my God. So little.
I'll
And
never see 5'1".
you'll never see
2.
5'5" ever, unless you're in those heels, like at Big's party.
Yeah, I was in the heels. Remember, we have a picture together, and I'm pretty tall in that picture.
Tall enough.
And then I'm almost as tall as Big's cardboard.
That's right. I remember we made a point of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then that Instagram that I had got hacked and suspended. And I had to
Why?
start over, which, by the way, is social media humiliation. Having to start, because I was almost at 3,000 followers, and my original Instagram was at Sketchomatic, all one word, right?
Oh my God.
And it started in 2010, I think. And it took me, what?
You basically had it when Instagram started. 'Cause
It
I think
started,
it was
yeah.
2010 or 11.
Yeah.
2010, you're right.
Yeah.
It started.
And I think I did it to myself. I installed an app. I told this on the podcast before, but I'll quickly go over it, gloss over it. Installed an app that analyzed your followers, meaning this app claimed to be able to tell the difference between bot followers and real followers, which was a very big convenience because you didn't have to go through your own IG and check and go. It just was able to separate them. And yet the app was bogus. It was like a backdoor hacking program to gain details on the people that you followed and then who they followed and so on and so forth. And I basically hacked my own Instagram by accident. And I had to start over. At first, I thought it was somebody trolling me. And then I came to realize that Instagram doesn't operate like that. If you go on and report somebody's account, like just because you don't like them, they're not going to just take it down just because you don't like them. I had some strikes against me because back then I was posting up like imaging work on Ableton and Pro Tools and artist promos, music promos. And I didn't always have permission. So I would get a couple of little warnings. And maybe that was it. I don't know, but
I don't think it would take you down for that.
I don't know. But I got a few strikes. I got 2 strikes, and I was wondering maybe they operate. And then I try to call them. I was wondering.
Damn.
I wonder if they operate on like a 3-strike thing, but I don't know. And I tried to call Instagram, left a voicemail, emailed them, never got a response. And I just started over.
Okay.
Now it's
Damn.
at sketch.omatic.
Well,
Yeah.
that's cool too.
It's all right.
It's like a new person, a clean slate.
Yeah, it's a clean slate, but it sucks because I was up to almost 3,000. It took me years, and I never paid for followers. Never.
Yeah, I don't see you as that guy.
No, even now, I'm like, no, I could pay for the little blue check mark, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's
Because
me.
those aren't even cool anymore.
Yeah.
Because now everyone gets it on
Exactly.
Twitter and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever.
But let's circle back here because there's so much ground to cover, and I only have you for a limited time, a short time. Get it? Sorry.
Is that a joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drum roll. Oh, rim shot. Yeah, rim shot.
There we go.
But let's circle back to you getting into radio, the trajectory when you were going to college. What did you want to do as a young lady before the inspiration for radio came about?
Well, I've always loved music, so I would be that person that would go to my brother and I'd be like, do you know what song is going to be really popular next? I bet you don't. And I would always know it because I would always look for songs. I'm like, watch, in 2 weeks, this is going to be the biggest song on the radio. Just because I always felt like I knew what song, and he'd be like, okay, whatever. And I just remember it was an Usher song. So with that being said, I'd always get in the car when my brother would take me to school. I'd sing along to the radio, whatever Big would say. And then my brother one day asked me, he's like, who sings that song? And I got so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the person who sings it. And he's like, yeah, can you let them sing it? And I was like, ah. So I went to school that day, and I was a jukebox in the homeroom too, first period, and I didn't sing, and everyone's like, what's going on? And I was like, my brother told me to shut up. So, but in his face, because guess who's on the radio singing
I
it now?
know. That's
But-
crazy. Look at you. You showed him up. You one-upped him, huh?
Yeah.
Now, that
was
was,
my love.
did you want to be a singer?
No,
What
I
did
wanted
you-
to. I always loved the entertainment industry, right?
So you just love music.
I love
Right.
music. I love the entertainment industry. I love Hollywood, growing up in Hollywood. So I was just like, dude, I got to do something to be in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into college, I was like, all right, so how do people get in? I actually started reading into a lot of celebrity bios. I saw Sissany, who works at Kiss FM. I was like, oh, it says she started as an intern. What's an intern? Started looking into that. I saw that my college had like these programs where you could do internships. Then I started looking into internships and I saw that Power 106 had it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is crazy. I'm like, whatever, let me just apply. I'm like a little girl over here.
Was that
like,
the only one you applied to?
It was that, and I think no. And then I started applying to production studios, like with movies and animation
Right.
and things like that, because I always wanted to be into acting as well. And I actually did like background talent.
Oh yeah, me too. I did that. Extra? You did central casting?
Yeah,
yeah,
central
I did that.
casting.
Yeah, I always got casted as a only 2 roles ever. Because this is when
You
I
got
had
roles like talking.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, like as characters or people in the
Oh.
background. Like it's either I was always casted as when I shaved my head, I was casted as a shady looking guy
Oh,
and cop, and sometimes
I could see
both on
that.
the same day. Like they would put me in the shady looking guy outfit, and then the next scene they'd have me become a cop
oh my god!
just to save time.
Did you ever get like a any lines or anything?
No,
like
I
that?
did get to like pantomime arresting somebody on CSI, which was on network. It was on CBS, I think at the time. Gary Sinise, who was Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, he was on the show, so I got to meet him, and they were like, "This is Officer Christian." That was the director, and I'm all, "Hi." He's like, "Hey, how you doing, Gary Sinise?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Isn't that so
It's
fun?
wild. It was wild.
Like till this day, I always tell people that's something you should do, especially
Yeah.
in college, because you go to like the holding area,
Yeah.
and that whole time you could do your work, you
Yeah.
could do whatever,
Yeah.
and you get paid.
You're getting paid for just sitting there.
The moment I learned that you step on set, you get paid no matter how long you work.
Yeah.
You could work 2 hours, you're getting your 8 hours of work, and then after that, they call like what golden time during lunch?
Overtime, a golden time,
If you pass
something like
over
that.
6
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. And then you get like double if you stay like till 2 a.m. I was on this other show called Huff on Showtime, and I stayed I was there from 6 a.m. until like 1 a.m.
Oh, that is
It was.
so cool.
And I only got paid a little bit, but it was the experience
Yeah.
to be there and to see how it all works and to really take it in. But I remember just starving on those sets, like so hungry and tired.
Really? They
Yeah.
would have so much food for us.
They would,
I'm
but
like,
they would
oh
only
my
give
God.
us so much. They would only give you so little because unless you were union,
Oh, yeah. They,
you know,
they got
yeah,
paid.
were you union?
No, I was trying to get, my friend got one line, so she got like, there's a thing that they say, and if you get 3 of those, then you can apply to be in
The
that.
vouchers.
It's the name that they said. I forgot what it was.
Vouchers.
But no,
No?
whenever they give you one role or one role to say in
I
the
see.
movie, there's like a thing that they call it.
I don't know it.
But
Yeah.
I have to Google what it is.
Did you get lines ever?
No, I wish.
What were you casted as?
Well, I would always be just casted as, I guess, any girl that
Right.
was like from this age to this. I was in an MTV show. I was in the Ray Donovan show. In the
Really?
Kitchen
You were on
sink.
Ray Donovan?
Yeah, I'm like walking. I did it twice, but I didn't watch the show, so I don't know anything
Oh my
about it.
God, that show is amazing.
We did it in Culver City. It was like some restaurant, and we were passing. And
That's
I was
dope.
like,
Shout out to Culver City, where I went to Culver City High School.
oh shoot!
Yeah, so did
That's-
Big Boy.
Yeah, see, that's where I know.
Culver
him
City
from.
Centaurs.
Did you know? You didn't know Big when you were in
I
high
did.
school.
That's how I met him. Well, I didn't know when he was in high school. He had already graduated.
Yeah.
But I met him when I was 12 years old. I was in 7th
Oh my
grade.
God.
And I remember he was a MC Big Boy at the time, and he was a DJ at the Teen Center at the Veterans Park.
MC Scratch?
MC. Well, he was already MC Big Boy by this time. I think he was MC Scratch before that.
Oh,
like
wow.
right before that. But I met him as MC Big Boy, and I remember he'd come to the Teen Center and set up with his equipment and his with DJ Ray, and DJ Ray would bring, or this other guy Carlos, who would bring the equipment, and Big would bring crates of records, like big crates, milk crates full of records. But obviously, this is before Serato and any laptop. And man, he would throw down like it was almost like the greatest club that you wish you had the same energy that Big would bring. Because he was dropping like, bitch better have my, but the clean versions, right?
Yeah.
Or like he'd play like, Poison, BBD, Belle Biv DeVoe, like all the 90s hits. And but he had them on vinyl. And it was hard to get, not hard, but it was so mysterious how he had all these records. And I'm like, where are you buying the vinyl? Because I couldn't find any CDs had taken over by then.
Wow.
So I'm like, where'd you buy all the vinyl? And he would be like, man, you got to go to this store on Melrose or up on Vine and like Santa Monica, it was Aaron's record, Highland in Santa Monica. It was like a lot of having to go out and get them. Wow. But to get them and then I would borrow records from Big Boy because he lived down the street from me, and I'd walk over to his house and he could be outside watering the lawn. You know what I mean?
Cute.
Yeah.
I can see Big doing
Yeah, he'd just be out there and he was like, what's up, Chris? Because I wasn't sketch yet. And I remember
so weird.
And I just told this story because I just had Eric Deluxe on the podcast. And
wow.
And
cool.
he was just here last night. Well, by the time this gets published, it'll be weeks apart. But yeah, I told Deluxe this at like, he would go, Sketch. Oh, sorry, Chris. There's 5 records here, 5 pieces of vinyl here. I expect to see 5 pieces of vinyl when you get back. And I was like, okay, like real big brother, you know what I mean? And it was just so sweet and endearing. And I'd go home and make a mixtape on cassette, you know, the one cassette?
Yeah.
And then I'd take him back to records and he would go, I go, all right, thanks, big. Or, you know, and I'd start watching. He'd go, hold on, Chris. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So he's always been just like that sweet person who takes care of.
Yeah.
He has like a really good heart.
Yeah, he does, especially for the people he actually really cares about. You know what I mean? Like, he gave me the tough love. He gave me the disciplined love. You know what I mean? He was always like that with me. I mean, I know that other people have relationships, but I feel like my relationship with him is unique.
Mm-hmm. And you've known him since
I was 12. I'm 45.
I feel like more than half his life at this point.
I've worked for him for 25 years now.
Wow.
I mean, it's
which
like
is more than his career, or most of his career.
Yeah, most of his career. When he got to mornings, I got there in 98. I was 19. Wow. So you, again, going back to you. You're in college. You're talking about your brother and the singing. You're in the music. You want to get in the music industry, and then the intern thing happens. You apply. Power responds.
Yeah.
Right. And it's big boy right away. Or where do you get in at Power?
So Power called me, but at the time I was starting my college job. Like, it was the second semester, and I was going there because I was going to switch whatever position I was doing because that other position was so boring, and all I did was watch Netflix, and I was just bored. I hated it.
Right.
So then I was like, all right, let me go downstairs, the Welcome Center, and as I was doing that, I got a call, so I didn't answer. I called back, and they're like, hi, it's Power 106, and I'm like, you guys called me. And I had reached the lobby, and I'm like, I just got a call from you guys. And they're like, no, we didn't call you. And I was like, no, I swear there was a call from here. And I guess like Jeff maybe heard, and he was like, oh, it was me. But I didn't really know anything at the time.
You talking about Jeff G?
Jeff G.
Jeff G's. Oh, hey, what's up, Dean?
Yeah, the sports dude. So I called back and I was like, I'm so sorry I missed your call. I hope I didn't miss out on the opportunity. Like, can I still like come in? And they're like, yeah, like come in. I go in. Jeff like interviewed me and stuff, and then I left, and I was like, I don't think I got this. I don't know, because like everything was so intimidating. When you walk into Power, it's like you're this little person who's 18 years old, who never had a job before, who's never done any like.
Wow, you never had a real job.
My real job was that one that I would have to watch Netflix videos. That literally it was just so boring.
But Netflix was out, wasn't even out yet, was it?
No, at the time it was.
It just came out, like streaming.
Well, yeah, it was
the streaming thing. Because I remember when it was DVDs.
I remember those too. I would get like Desperate Housewives and stuff. But this is like 2012 going into 2011 going into 12.
I see what you're saying.
So it was like the end of 2011. But the only job I had was working at this office student worker thing, and they had nothing for me to do. So they said, just bring your computer and do whatever you want.
Wow. So it was like just sit around kind of job in a cubicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had my own cubicle, and then my boss or something was next to me, and she wasn't even doing much. She was a very nice lady, super
She's
nice.
over there crocheting.
Yeah, that's why they told me. They're like, why don't you go work at the Welcome Center where you could talk to people?
Right. You're a people person, Ani.
Yeah, that's why when I don't see people, I get really sad. Like,
really?
It causes depression for me. So during COVID, but the thing is, like, I got to talk to everyone during COVID. We were always doing the show. There was always people. So
you were still here during COVID, right? You were essential like that? You were here to run the show and run the board?
We just weren't in for... Overall, throughout the whole thing, it was probably 3 months collectively that we didn't come in as the neighborhood. But there were times where Big and stuff, they were working from home, and me and Jason were still coming in.
Yeah.
So it was just me and Jason at one point, and then they said like everybody in the building has to leave.
Yeah, I remember that. And I was producing the shows. Well, I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Yeah, because we were calling each other at that time too. I remember that.
Remember that? Night. And Vic and Juan Juan had just kind of started. Yeah. Like took over the business because Blaine had bounced. Yeah. And Juan is great. Amazing. But you know, Juan was I felt bad because I was like, man, Juan is thrown in the Shark Tank.
Yeah, that was insane.
Full chum mode. And it's COVID. Something completely unprecedented. We don't know how the hell we're going to deal with this. We don't know when remember when they said COVID was only going to be 2 weeks?
Yes. That was oh my God. By Easter?
Yeah. Oh my God. That was so funny, man. And then it turned into, 3 months. And people were like, and then, I don't know, just the whole thing. It was such a weird time in our lives, especially in radio. And I think, like Deluxe said, that it was really detrimental to his career in DJing. Really? Like everything, comedians, Joe Rogan talks about how it brought everything to a complete halt. It wasn't just being able to be around your family and friends. It was like if you were a comedian on stage, That's a wrap. And then it went to Zoom stand-up
gosh.
shows. I remember Big had one, and I chimed in on it. I was there on the screen, and Jeremy Piven was doing a set.
I was there
huge.
live, and
you
it
were
was
there.
weird.
It was
just
weird.
Like, I'm at the Laugh Factory for the first time ever in my life, and all I see is like these screens.
Yeah. I mean, and what one of the comedians said, it might have been Piven, it might have been somebody else. I don't want to botch it or give credit to another comedian, but one of the comedians said, I feel like I'm doing stand-up in a Best Buy aisle.
Oh my gosh, that might have been, I remember something
Right?
like that. It might have been Eric Blake too. I don't remember.
Yes, I think it was Eric Blake. I was one of those guys.
I remember seeing the screens too. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for him right now.
Right.
Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, it was wild. But you know what? They got through it, and kudos to them for doing that. Because we needed that.
Yeah.
Whether you knew it or not, we needed that connection with people, and Zoom blew the fuck up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
By the way, Ani, do you curse ever?
I do curse.
Do you curse? I mean, because you can curse on this podcast.
I do curse. I feel like I try not to curse publicly just because I don't want that out there. You know, anything that you put on the internet or you put out there, it's going to stay there
You document.
forever.
Right.
Yeah, anything you put, you could be anywhere. So I'm always like, I try not to curse. 'Cause
Oh.
I wouldn't want that out there. Like, of course, I curse on the side and I say things I probably shouldn't on the
What
side.
do you say? What do you say? Like, not
I wouldn't say
you
it.
don't want to say it here, but what do you like? F-bombs? You do
Oh, for sure.
S-bombs?
S-bombs. Although I have to be honest with you, I am trying to cut that out because I'm like, I don't really need to say that. I don't really need it in my vocabulary, really.
Mm-hmm.
I could express myself.
Will you give me an exclusive here and just give me a little curse word real quick? Sketch Show podcast exclusive. Wait, do it again.
Fuck.
Oh,
See? There we go.
So she whispered it.
No, but when I do get mad, though, I don't curse. I'm not like if I get mad, I get very quiet.
I know. I saw it.
I think about it. If somebody wants to talk to me, like that person, I'll have them very mature. But like before, I just be like really sad.
Yeah, I know.
cry.
I know I've seen you when you got upset with me. I remember the worst feeling. Like I almost wanted you to just curse me out, but you didn't. You were just like, okay, well, have a nice weekend. And you walked out, and I was like, dude, this is where the saying, hell have no fury like a woman scorn comes to life. Because I'm like, man, when they're quiet like that, it's the worst shit in the world.
'Cause I
It's
don't
so
wanna say
cold.
anything I'm gonna
Right.
regret.
But
Like-
it's the feeling that men get. Like as a male, and you know, you being female and you're my friend and I've known you for so long, there's this
We're like
this
family.
feeling in my gut that I got was like, oh my God, it's like this void. And I felt like I just lost something. Like I lost
Aw.
someone, you know, and it's like kind of like breaking up feeling, but in a friend way.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I felt that too. I walked out. I was like, what just happened?
I know.
Oh
I
my
was so
gosh.
distraught. I was very distraught. And I went home and I was so mad. I remember I
so
like
sad.
talked shit to my neighbor that day. He moved out, but he was making noise. I'm all, Michael! You know, and he was like,
Turn it down,
yeah.
yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry, Chris. Oh, Chris. Sorry. And I was like, oh, you know, yeah, my bad. Anyway.
No, but I love that though. I love that. You know how they talk about hip hop beefs when it comes to like you see
Yeah.
50 Cent and Fat Joe are
Yeah.
cool now, or like at one point Drake and Kanye, but that didn't happen. But
Right.
still, like it's cool whenever you do see people come back together instead
Yeah.
of like you said, whenever you get older and you're like, I should have.
Right.
It's like how many people let that go, like hold grudges for no reason.
Yeah, until their deathbed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't like confrontation. I don't like anymore. When I was younger, I was a hothead. I almost liked to argue with people.
Really?
Like I liked to just to be right. I just had to be right about everything. Didn't
I feel
even
like
matter.
I went through that.
Yeah, I think it's a phase that everybody goes through. But now I'm at the age now where I'm like, what did Keanu Reeves say? I saw this on a meme. He probably didn't even say this, but somebody created a meme with Keanu Reeves. And he's like, and it says, I'm at the age now where I don't want to argue about anything. If you come up to me and you go, hey, Keanu, 1 + 1 = 5. He goes, great. Have a great day. Enjoy life.
Yeah, I
That's
love
where
that.
I'm at now. I'm just like, okay, I got to get to the house. I'm trying to finish up Better Call Saul again. And I'm trying to play this
good
video
stuff.
game. Yeah, I'm just trying to be content in life. And it's hard. It's hard sometimes because self-control is very valuable now. And it's, you know, this business is rough, Ani, as you well know. And being in radio in LA at iHeart, it's a beast. It's a hard beast
crazy.
to ride, right? And we're here. And how do you deal with well, I wonder, we finished up this how you got into radio? Oh yeah, we did. We
Yeah,
talked about
as
that.
an intern.
I want to make sure I didn't just skip over that.
I did meet Big Boy on my first day as an intern.
You
though. That
did.
was really cool. And he bought us lunch and he's like, hey, I'm going to buy everyone lunch. And then I feel bad when people buy anything till this day. I'm like that, right? And I was like, no, it's okay. I could get it for us. And then he gave me $100. He was like, here, you could go get it. And I was like, you're so smart and fast. I tell him that every day. I'm like, do you remember that?
Yeah, what does he say?
I don't think he remembers that. But that was the first time, I don't know. Honestly, he doesn't. He just smiles, and I'm like, okay, he doesn't remember, but I remember. So he remembers seeing me at the club though when I was 18. So
Wow,
cool.
what club?
Well, it was
Florentine Garden.
No, it was Velasco. So yes, he was having a party. She had YG, all these people, and I was 18. I couldn't really get in. I just started. She's like, Ani, would you want to be like a bodyguard in the back? Just make sure nobody gets like
Bodyguard Ani?
Yeah, basically like checking people in. But of course they had security. I was just checking people in, and then Big saw me at the club, and he was like, oh, he's like, so who's going to take you home? And I was like, my mom's here. Because he was going to offer me to take me. And then till this day, he's like, remember when your mom came to get you from the club?
Oh.
And I was like, you remember that?
That's wild.
It's crazy that he remembers that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you remember that?
He remembers a lot of things, man. And then there's some things I don't even remember that he remembers.
Isn't that so cool? Like,
It's
he
wild.
has like so much going on in his life,
Yes.
but he remembers a moment with you.
Right. A distinct, vivid memory that he shares with you.
It's so insane.
Yeah, I love that. It's wild to me that, he's got the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh
And,
my
and we talked about this on the podcast and off podcast air per se. And then I was like, Big, it's wild that you've been in this business for so long and you have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and it's right next to Nipsey, and I asked him, how did that even come to be? And he goes, that was the universe. That was probably Nipsey. He goes, I didn't plan on that. And that was wild to me because Tim Conway Jr. asked me to ask him that. It's wild how the universe works, but to the star and the aspect of the star on Hollywood Walk of Fame, I'm like, in a lot of ways, Big, I feel like I'm a part of that and that we're a part of that star. Like in a way, I don't feel like it's my star, but I feel like I helped make that star happen. And he was like, you absolutely did. Everybody in this show, from you to Juan to Jason to Ani, everybody, even people who don't work here anymore, all of them, all of them had a hand in making that a reality. And that is I thought that was so eloquent, yeah, go ahead.
I just think that's why people love him so much.
Yeah.
Because he loves people so much.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to give that credit back, and not credit, it's like
a tribute. He attributes his success to the people that help support him and get him to where he's at, even if they're not here anymore.
Which is what I love about him.
Yeah, that's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a modest and not just that, but it's like noble to be like open like that and not just be like, oh yeah, man, it's all me, or it's all me and it's me and Jason. It's like, no, he really remember he ran down the list of people.
Oh my gosh, when I heard my name, I was like, oh my gosh, I made it. What?
Probably gonna have to hit a clip of that real quick.
My name is on the marquee, but there are so many people that made Big Boy. Louis, Natalia, Ani, Day, Juan, Sketch.
Oh, and speaking of which, I remember doing a demo for you. Yeah, remember the demo we did?
Oh my gosh, I've been sending it out. Although I haven't, well, not now because SAG, but before I hadn't gotten anything. Although I do have a class workshop coming up with this agent guy, so I'm gonna put that in there. And thank you for that, because that is so much work to put in. Like, I even tried to like edit a little bit, and I'm like, damn, like he really did a lot for me. And this is when we weren't really talking, and I was like, I wish I could just text him and be like, thank you.
I wish you did, but it's all good because we're here now. And you said it, and it's documented here on this podcast.
No, seriously, thank you. That just in itself is like such a big thing.
It was fun because you have a pretty good category of different voices and delivery. Remember, and I was like, do it like this, say it like that. I'm going to play a clip of it right here, right now. Let's do a clip.
This is Ani Caribbean voiceover demo.
There's rarely a dull moment in the lives of July 5 people.
Privet, welcome to the store. We have so many great food. Svetlana, please come in. We have customers. Svetlana, hello, hi. We have great Russian borscht. We love soup here. Hey, Teddy, I'm here. Oh my God, girl, put that on everything.
He doesn't know, so don't tell him. I'm over at my girl's house if he asks, okay?
You know, in England, we don't actually like eating a lot of rubbish, is what they call it.
Ani Caribbean voiceover demo.
And it's life-changing. How cool.
I love when you talk like your brother because you sound like a little boy when you talk.
Do I?
Right. When
you're so bad. Yeah, I can't wait to show him all this stuff one day.
You're not fat, by the way. You're not fat.
Not now, because one day I passed by the TV. He's like, oh, you didn't actually cover the screen. Did you lose weight? Like, yeah.
So mean.
Yeah, but it's just, I guess it's a boy thing. I don't know.
I mean, is he nagging you? That's almost like a brother nagging.
No. Like, if he hears someone else ever say anything or just anything, like,
he'll shut him down.
Oh, not even shut him down. Like, good luck on your life.
Oh, wow. So he loves you, but it's all love.
Oh, yeah.
It's all love.
He was very overprotective at one point, actually, very annoyingly. Like, I hated it. But it came from his friends too, and it was a younger age. And then when I got into radio, all of that changed, and it was a little more open-ish.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be allowed to go to hookah lounges. That would be a problem. If somebody texted and said, "Oh, I saw your sister at a hookah lounge," it'd be like a problem.
So you don't go to hookah anymore?
No, I do now.
Oh,
So
okay.
like all of that changed when I got into radio. I feel like the culture of my life.
And I'm sure when you turn 21 and all that stuff, right? Because you're a woman now.
But also, I was already in radio at that time too. So I don't know if it was the age or if it was just
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything completely had changed. So I do feel like he comes off kind of mean when I say things about my brother, how he is. But at the end of the day, he loves me more than anyone.
No, I know. It's I've had that relationship with my sisters as well.
Yeah, but he's definitely not me. He's like the chillest. Like those are childhood days. Now he says anything to me, I'm like, excuse you?
How much older is your brother than
A year
you?
and 7 months.
Oh, you're really close.
And we were only a grade apart. So it wasn't like we were 2 years apart. So we went to school together. If he saw a guy hug me or his friends did, that was a problem, which became a problem one day. And I was like, dude. So then I went home and I was like, Mom, that's not fair. I can't even hug a guy. So yeah, that's another reason why I never had a boyfriend at a young age.
Oh, Ani, you're so funny. I love.
Well, yeah, no, it would be things on AIM. I would have like a freaking status that had maybe a guy's name, and they'd be like, "Who is this guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's one of my girlfriends, not girlfriend, but my friends who are girls. We just have guy nicknames for each other." Then one day he even called my friend. He's like, "Is it true that you guys have this nickname?" And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Girl, I didn't even text you, so thank you."
Wow.
But they just knew, like, okay, if somebody calls and asks this, you.
Let me ask you something, Ani. We could always take this out, but you've talked about it on air, and you're single. You've been single. Have you ever had a boyfriend in your life, like a real relationship?
Not a real,
No. You've dated a couple of guys here and there.
Talk to.
Right. Talk to.
I guess it depends on what dating is.
Right. I mean, just you go out to the movies, go to dinner and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, you've done stuff like that, right?
Not like an actual date.
Wow. Yes.
Not like your movie date that you see someone come pick you up from your house or. My parents have never seen me with a guy. I don't even think they know what kind of guy they would like. I mean, a guy, just me and a guy.
Right.
I don't think they even know what type of guy.
Wow. Let me ask you this. Is it fair to say that you've never been in love?
I'm not sure.
Like, have you ever cared about somebody else's happiness more than your own?
Definitely. I've never had a traditional relationship. I've talked to guys where I'm just like, wow, am I in love? Is this love?
Right.
But
you're not sure. I don't think you probably have. You probably felt like something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't real, like head over heels in love. Right?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Not yet. Not yet.
I think that's going to come when it comes, I guess. But I never had been open to it either.
A lot of the younger folks don't seem to be getting married anymore. Like, it seems like something that's it's not sacred anymore. Like, people get married and they get divorced. Like, they're just switching to another car.
Yeah.
And I feel like, do you feel like you're still very young, even though you're mature for your age? You've always held a certain level of discipline, especially when you started with Big at 18. And you've kept that consistency, throughout the years. And now you're on the air. And it took a while. Like, there's 2 points I'm trying to make here. One is you put in your 10,000 hours. You didn't just join the show and get on the air 3 minutes later.
Not at all.
Like, some people have come on the show and they got hired for that. But they didn't put in the struggle that you did, running the board nationally at 3 a.m, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, getting to the station, staying all day, running the board for local when I met you. And then when Big left Power and I met you at Westwood One, when I kind of really got to know you afterwards, right?
Slept under the board.
I remember your hair. Yeah, I remember your hair. Yeah, I've slept under the board too, many a times. It's cute when you do it. When I do it, it's like, Sketch, what the fuck are you doing?
It's because you're taller than me.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like a giraffe sleeping underneath the board. Like, what the hell is this?
You might miss me.
Yeah, and you stayed consistent, and then you get hired you get put on the air, like pretty much right after COVID, right? Like
during COVID.
During COVID.
Actually, yeah, during COVID, exactly. And then Natalia, when she took her paternity leave, it was just me and Louie.
Damn.
And that was 2021 beginning. But I had already started 2020 and I was already filling in.
You were already doing little segments too. Remember, Ani Click of the Day
when
was
people
happening.
Were off.
Yeah. I remember I was doing those promos and stuff for the podcast. But really getting on the air now where it's at now, do you feel sometimes that because of your career and your discipline and your dedication to the show, it's like you're married to your career.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's more important than finding true love?
I think that, okay, so I think that definitely has my priority for sure. But when it comes to true love, I don't think that's something that I need to go look out for and see it. One thing I need to do is be more open to it, which I'm not. And before that, it's because I was all in with the show, where now I do have more time. During COVID, it was crazy because not only was it on air, but it was also uploading things on the internet. It was whenever we were on interviews, 50 Cent would be on Zoom in my house, and I'd be like, Mom, 50 Cent's in her house, because he's doing an interview with Big, and I would just be on the Zoom as well, listening, taking notes and all that. So after the show was over, then it's cutting clips and doing social and just making sure that I have my career set, because the fear that I have is like getting with the guy, cool, you could be in love in a relationship, that's beautiful. But you have to also take care of yourself, because that guy can just be like, I'll take care of you, babe. And then 5 years down the line, finds another girl, takes care of her. And now what? Now what am I going to do? And I hear that story so many times. So I'm like, love will happen when it happens. It's not anything that I'm going to push. I meet a lot of people all the time. So I'm not afraid that I'm going to end up alone at all. Like, it will happen. But I also do feel like everybody's life is just set up a very different way. When it comes to marriage, I'm so excited that you said that. I used to always want to get married. I was like, by 26, I'm going to be married and do this. Now I think about marriage, I'm like, bro, you want the government to get in between you? Why? No, like really, like what is that paper for? And then when you start really looking into the history of marriage and where it started, you're like, you guys are joining a little culty thing. Like if you really love someone, there's no reason that I have to sign this paper and say, yeah, I promise you. Sign a prenup or sign like a notary. There's other things you can do if you're buying something together, if you have it. Just because you have a marriage certificate doesn't mean that the person's going to love you forever. They're going to be with you. Right. I just feel like it's a scam, really.
I think when two people have a child together, that's the bond for life.
Yes, like that in itself. Yeah. If you're worried about the money when it comes to that, or if you guys have a house together or business, then have a different type
when
of
you're
notary.
invested together too.
Yeah, you can have contracts for that too. It's the same thing. A marriage contract. A marriage is a contract. Yeah. So you can just always make it your own as well. And I think that's one thing that I learned that I didn't realize when I was younger. And I do hear a lot of Gen Z, or here's the thing, Sketch. I know a lot of people who get married or like in church and all that have this wedding, and I go to their wedding. Months later, I find out they're not actually married on paper.
Wow.
They just had the ceremony. And I'm like, wait, that makes sense. And a lot of people also do it because money-wise, it makes sense.
I've never even heard of that, just having a wedding but not being like legally married.
Well, because marriage, really, when you think about it, it's two things. Right. It's the reception and the ceremony, and it's the actual paper, signing all that. I want the
third,
reception.
honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. See, I want all that. I don't want the other thing. I want the honeymoon. I want the reception. You're going to think I have it, but
wow.
I think marriage is a scam.
Yeah. Well,
marriage paper is signed.
I'll tell you, I was engaged twice
in
my life. Yeah, I was engaged twice early on, way before I met you. I was in my 20s. I got engaged, and then I got engaged again in like my late 30s.
Did you regret it the first time?
Or mid 30s? No, I didn't regret either. It just, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I kind of knew it wasn't going to happen from the get-go, but I wanted to make the attempt to try to show that I did love that woman. And I did. I was always probably too emotionally and attached and just, insecure. Also drunk all the time. That didn't help. Her? Yeah, with my last engagement, which was 2013, I think. Wow. Yeah. It didn't last, but we were together for like 10 years or 8 years. About 10, almost 10, because we still hung out and stuff like that. But it's weird because we weren't meant to be together like in that way, I feel like. And she's so beautiful. I always wonder, like, what the hell? How did I even land this?
Well, you're a really good person.
I'm a good person, but I'm a really funny looking guy.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, as I get older, thank you though. But as I get older, I'm like, man, I can't imagine. I've talked about this before. I can't imagine subjecting any woman ever to have to wake up next to me every day.
You're crazy.
I can't imagine it.
You're crazy.
I wake up to myself and I go to the mirror in the bathroom and I'm like, ugh.
You need to stop.
It's brutal. It's unsettling.
And start kissing yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, whoever ends up next to this better be happy.
Kissing myself in the mirror, like doing duck face or actually tongue kissing the mirror?
I mean, you can tongue it if you want, if it's clean, but if it's not clean, watch out. You don't want a dirty tongue. Mm-hmm. But no, you should never think that. Like, that's one thing I always think people shouldn't think. Here's the thing. You're going to be you for the rest of your life.
Unfortunately.
Not unfortunately. That's a beautiful thing. There's nothing in the world you can do to change that, right? The only thing you can do to make yourself feel better is to feel better about yourself, to think better about yourself, and to really think that you're the trophy. So, like, I always just tell people that. I'm like, remember, you're the freaking trophy. Don't ever think you're not the trophy.
The trophy theory.
Yes, you're the trophy.
Self-trophy.
Tell me why you're not.
Well, I am a trophy when it comes to this production and imaging and voiceover shit.
You kill it.
That's what I know I excel, but the rest of my life is one giant question mark.
That's BS because you're a very nice person.
No, I am. I'm a nice guy. I am, but
you make smart moves.
People take kindness for weakness, and I try to not go out anymore because I don't drink. I don't have a car anymore. I sold that. Just, I had to make a sacrifice to live across the street from the station and be able to walk to work. I just thought of this today. I believe I am the only person at iHeartMedia that walks to work. I remember Menace from Woody Show. He lived above Whole Foods, the Whole Foods. Yeah. I think he moved though since then, but he had a place there when they first built it. So he was probably the first to do that. And there's a lot of people.
He almost got run over one day, and he said that's why he started taking a car. And mind you, it's just one street.
Yeah, but that street is gnarly, though. If you're not looking both ways, people aren't paying attention. They're on their phones or on their Tesla screens or the car's driving itself. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
at night.
I live next to Warner Brothers, so I walk around the California backside street, right?
Oh, pretty.
And there's never really any traffic on Riverside Drive next to New York Film Academy.
That's
I
how I
walk.
come in.
Yeah, it's a super low key, real mellow walk. It takes about 6 minutes, even when I walk slow. Well, I cover a lot of ground quickly. I'm like a giraffe.
You do have big legs.
I do have very long legs, yes. But you have very cute little legs, honey. They're so tiny. You have little keychain shoes.
My little keychain. You remember that one keychain thing that someone once sent big, like that little shoe?
Yeah.
And they were like, this is my
yeah. We used to do that to E-Man back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't like that.
Aw.
Yeah. He'd be like, what's up, E? Does this fit you? And he'd just look at me over the rim of his glasses.
Oh.
You done?
I love E-Man.
Yeah, I miss E.
I interned for him and Jeff, so that's why I love him.
Did he ever tell you, E-Man, he'd go, I remember when I go, man, E-Man, I just had dead air. I just let a curse word go over the air by accident. He'd go, did Jimmy hear it? I'm like, I don't know. And he'd look around and check his phone. He'd go, oh, I didn't get a text. It's all good. You'll be fine. Did he ever do that?
Oh,
It's all good. You'll be fine. That was his thing. It's all good. You'll be fine.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. He would never like blow up or anything.
Yeah, I've never seen him get upset.
Even when after I had dead air or I might have let a curse word go and he'd just go he'd look around and just make sure nobody else heard and he'd go, it's all good. You'll be fine.
Oh
and I'm like, what the fuck, E-Man, there's a plane flying towards us. It's all good. You'll be fine. Everything was all good. You'll be fine.
I love it though. He's so chill and just so I don't know, majestic. It feels like.
Yeah, he is. He's a quiet giant, as they say in the industry. And so are you. You're very small in stature, but you do so much, Ani, for the show. And it seems like your career is it's excelled within since COVID. Your career has really excelled forward, I believe, in the sense of being on the air. You're doing way more on-air segments. They're always entertaining. And I know that you guys put in a lot of work to each segment. You have to look up the story. You have to write the story. You have to make sure it's within a certain time and succinct, and then
the audio.
Yeah. And
Mine is the audio.
There's audio to pull. And then you got to leave enough room for Big to mess around a little bit or have fun with it. I mean, it may sound easy as you hear it on the air in context, but believe me, it is not. Yeah. It appears that way because you're good at it. And I believe you're great at it. You've put in enough. You wouldn't be on with Big Boy if you weren't good enough.
Sometimes I'm like, do they just like me and feel bad? And they're like, all right, let's keep her.
Yeah, that only lasts so long, though. They would have gotten rid of you a long time ago. Same with me.
I always get nervous, too, but which isn't a bad thing from what I've heard, because that always...
Do you still get nervous when you go on the air with Big?
Dude, I texted Juan today. I was like, how was that segment? It was like a Dr. Dre segment that I had worked so hard on because I added like specific things inside the actual, in case you missed it, with old recordings and all that.
Oh, like for the 50 years of hip-hop celebration,
Yeah,
right?
I added the first time Dre ever heard Eminem on the morning show, a different morning show, all that. And I was like, okay, how did that sound? How was my presentation? Because I was also focused on making sure that was right. But I'm like... how was the presentation? Because I don't write anything really down. I just write down like the first word so I could remember how that's going to start. But in my head, like you said earlier, it's just always like, okay, words are coming. I'm like, okay, which word's going to
You don't even know what it sounds like. Do you go back and listen to yourself on the show ever?
Well, so when I first had started before, now we have Jay Savvy who works with us. He started last July, I believe. But I had started on air in 2021, January, like just me and Louie until Natalia came back from maternity leave. But all the way, I guess I say that to say all until 2022 of July, I was running the board.
Right.
So I would do the segment, then I would run next door and I would play the segment. So I heard every single segment I did because I would replay
I remember seeing you in the studio and you go, hold on, sketch. And you'd put it to like program 2 to hear the playback.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so adorable. You still have the same level a level of enthusiasm as you did when you were 18. It seems like probably even more so now because you have more responsibilities
and excitement.
Yeah, and you're just so enthusiastic about it all. Even when Natalia kind of poke fun, she's like, Ani's excited about everything. We'll go, Ani, can you close the door? Okay, I'm closing the door. Whee! And it's like everything's like a slip and slide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, if I just say like, okay, cool, I'll go close the door. Like, cool. But like, you also think about it, right? It's that like childlike thing that I think a lot of people lose when they get older and they think they have to be cool and have like this cool persona, like, yeah, whatever, I'll go do it.
Right.
But I just think it's so cool, the job that we have.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have that. I mean, I hope I have this for a very long time.
You don't appear to be getting complacent either. Like, there's a lot of that could happen in radio, and it's not just in LA. In every entertainment industry, it could be, acting, news media, on television, like CNN or whatever. Once you get a position of power, like, or a higher status position, like you with being on air, it's so easy to get the Macy's Day Parade balloon size head. It's
wow.
You know what I mean?
I never heard
it's
that
so
before.
easy to do that. I did that. Now, not saying because when I was younger, not because I was part of Big Boy Show. It's just I had an attitude about everything. Like I said, I wanted to argue with everybody. I wanted to debate about shit all the time.
Oh,
And-
you're young.
Yeah, I was young and just angry. And it was a lot of it looking back. It was because of my father and my mom, like them. It's like a lot of deep-rooted psychological shit that's going on in the old Omatic's head. Back then, as young Omatic, I didn't know about that. I wasn't aware of all these things that were happening as they were happening. Was able to look inside underneath the hood. I've always wanted to get therapy so I can really dig deep on like why I get so upset so quickly, or why I overreact, or why I get mad at myself so much, and why I what's it called? I like self-deprecating so much. But I also feel because I am in a unique position and I do unique work, and I'm I have a very odd job. Like, it's hard to explain what I do to people. Well, what do you do for Big Boy? Well, I'm not on the air, but I am kind of, because I'm the voice of the show.
I mean,
so,
you are on air.
Yeah, they play the drops, the intros, like Louis G's Rotten Tamales.
Louis G's Rotten Tamales
Review.
What else do I do? The celebrity scan. Oh, yeah. Do they still use that?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Okay, because I made like multiple versions of that, but I don't know if they ever got used. I just was like...
We do. Even the other day, Big was like, wait, where's the Zodiac thing? Because Natalia was doing it. We always do it. Natalia, Zodiac.
Natalia. Zodiac. Time.
And then Natalia will go like that and look in the sky.
Oh, and she's like waving your hands in the air, like very... whatchamacallit?
Majestic.
You're almost like you're shrooming.
Exactly. And Big's like, why are you looking up in the sky like you're really looking at the stars?
I'm looking at trails right now, Big. That is wild. I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get that diva type of mentality.
I guess, yeah.
Especially when you get on with Big, because it's Big Boy. You're at the top of the hip hop food chain of the West Coast. I feel like in some ways Big is like the hip hop Howard Stern.
Yeah,
in a way, because there's such deep thought, so many gems of knowledge. He's been in the game for so long.
He is hip hop history.
And it's true. I feel like I've learned so much from Big. But back then, getting into the, having kind of like a big head and an attitude, but now being older and seeing other people kind of do that, I try to go, hey man, don't do that.
Really?
Like
see it and say it?
Sometimes I try to just warn people, like not warn in a bad way, but just go, don't get complacent, don't cut corners, and don't get lazy. Just because you're on the air, that means the work steps up 10 times more.
Yep.
You have to give the same amount of efficiency, focus, and consistency to maintain that position. And if you just think because you're on the air now, you could just sit back because you're famous in a sense, that's not the case.
Not at all.
Right? It's not the case. And with you, I feel like you've really stepped your game up, like since you've been on the air. Yeah, I can't deny it. I can't deny it. I got to give credit where credit's due. Like Big says, the show doesn't operate the same without you. And it doesn't operate the same without Jason.
Yeah.
Or, it's all, everybody has their lane. And you have a few lanes. You have a few lanes.
You're to make sure I'm still needed.
Yeah. It makes me proud to see you grow and evolve into the woman you are now from the young lady you were when I met you. It's great to see that. It's great to see good things happen to good people. And I think you're a great person, Ani, and I think you deserve what you have. And I wish you nothing but the best in excelling further in what you're going to do. Now, let me ask you this.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me ask you this, Ani, before we wrap this up.
Yes.
Because I know you have things to do.
It's weird being on this side of the interview.
Oh, that's so cute.
I've never done this.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Another Sketch Show podcast exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this right before we started recording it, and then we'll wrap up after this. But you told me right before we started recording the podcast, I said, you've never been on a podcast as a guest before, Ani? And then you said that you turn most of them down.
Yeah, I say no, like anytime anyone says like, oh, can I get you on this and talk about this? And I'm just like, no, sorry. Or like, I'm like, what? First of all, why do you want to interview me? There's like no reason.
Come on.
Why?
You're interesting and intriguing.
Not at all.
And intrepid.
That's why I'm like, all right, is this trying to get some, I don't know.
Oh,
right?
I see what you're saying, right. Are most of them dudes?
Well, no, it'll be different. Not like that, but I'm just like, I don't know what you're trying to like do this for because I know people don't want to hear this. So let's just not embarrass myself. But the other thing is I also feel like we already say like a lot on the radio as it is.
Right.
So like
you talk enough.
Yeah. And I'm like, I really don't think people want to hear it. And I also don't want to say anything crazy or wrong or.
No, I don't think you can, really. I really don't think. It's not that you can't do no wrong, but I honestly feel like you really can't do any wrong. I think everything you say is.
I can.
I mean, I'm sure we all can.
Yeah,
But
everyone.
you, of all people, because you're little and you're effervescent and you're adorable, even if you were to like, you know, have a dead air and then Big would be like, was there dead air right now? And you're like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like that. I'm like,
sorry, or my bad. It's like, it's different because it's you. You know what I mean? And when it's me, it's a whole different story.
No. Trust me. I've had a curse word go on air before.
Really?
I cried and cried. And I was like, Natalia, are they going to fire me? Yeah. This was in 2015. And then after that, they added a minute delay. It was I think it was only 8 seconds at the time.
Isn't it like 17 now? Or is it a minute now?
So it was 8 seconds at the time. And then for the neighborhood, it became a minute because it was 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds whenever we started on the neighborhood side. But they recently just changed it. So I think it might be back down to 30.
Okay.
So now I don't run the boards anymore. So
you don't have to.
I still have to know. I mean, I still do board stuff. I know how to do it. But the dump I have to ask.
Let me ask you this, Ani. With all the things you've done in your career with Big Boy's Neighborhood since the age of 18.
Yeah.
What happens?
That's crazy.
What do you see yourself doing after in the future? Because you're still very young. What do you see yourself doing career-wise?
Well, a lot of stuff, right? So I have a lot of stuff in my head that go on. Of course, there's the stocks. So I go every day. Whenever I go home, whatever I do, I'm into stocks, crypto, all that stuff. That's like my side, everything. That's how I plan on making money. Then I eventually want to have my own makeup line. So I love makeup. So I have to have a makeup line. And then I'm doing like different store stuff right now. Like Shopify, I have my own store online. But on there, I'm trying to grow a website completely not related to me. You wouldn't even know it's my website. Like nothing about me, right? So I'm
like
doing
a brand.
Yeah, just a regular brand. So I'm working on that and I'm not even going to advertise it on my own stuff. It's just going to do its thing and I'm going to work on that. Then I want to get into animation and voiceovers. So I have my first workshop coming up on the 14th with this like really big agency guy that he's going to be doing it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'll get to see him. So I'm going to do more of that, get into that. But I do want to end up in movies and then buy a lot of properties and then just make sure I make my income that way because I never want to work for anyone. Outside of Big Boy's Neighborhood.
That's a hell of a path right there you carved out.
That's just right now.
It's a good itinerary.
It's going to be more. It's just right now that's what it is.
But you do want to get into some acting, you said.
Oh, for
the back
sure.
end acting, right? You did the background, central casting, extra stuff.
I loved
and you want to do some like on camera lines. What would you want to like act in? Movies
Comedy
or
stuff.
comedy stuff?
Like anything that can let me be goofy and be myself and be like this. And just like when you think about Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Like things like that or something fun. Something when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is fun to watch. Like, I like that character. Somebody who makes you feel good. That's all I want to do.
When speaking of acting, I've told you this before, but you're very young and this show was on when you were probably you weren't even born yet, or maybe it was like you were just a baby. But there was a show called X-Files back in the day, right?
I've heard of it.
And now that had David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, right? Now, Gillian Anderson, when she was your age, she has like this very elegant, classic type of beauty that you have. Like you have a very exotic look, right? You're very beautiful, Ani.
Thank you. I didn't think
and I love the makeup. I love how you do your makeup videos, and it's very, I love all that stuff. I love that about you because you're very you're very girly in that way, which I love. I love that. When the eyeliner and the shiny lip gloss. I love that stuff.
Glitter pens.
Oh yeah.
Literally, I love glitter. I'm obsessed with.
But those are actual writing pens. You don't put that on your face or anything, right?
No, but I have so much glitter at home, like everything else, so I can't do.
No, but every time I see Gillian Anderson, because I rewatch X-Files just as like a show to have on in the background.
Go on, you write that down. Gillian Anderson.
1 second. John Peake is hitting me up, VP of iHeartMedia.
And my boss too.
Sorry. Wrapping up.
Are you at work?
A session. Yeah, technically. We're going to wrap this up right now, but let's just do this. I'm going to wrap up with this. Gillian Anderson on X-Files, her beauty when she was your age reminds me of you all the time. Now, she has red hair on the show and she's like a blue eyes, but it's her facial structure. She looks like she was beamed in from like the 1940s. You have that same type of elegant classic beauty from like a woman from like the 1930s or 40s.
Really?
Like you have that type of look.
That.
If they were to like dress you up in like 1940s type of attire, you would look like you were from that era.
Really?
Because you have that type of look in your face. Like it's hard to explain, but the eyes, the nose, just the facial structure is very similar to Gillian Anderson when she was your age.
Oh my, I'm going to Google her. I wrote her name down.
It's the eyes, I think, more than anything. It's the shape of the eyes. It's so you. Yeah.
I always go like this. I'm like, why are my eyes so not open?
Your eyes you have like giant eyes.
But I feel like it should be like this.
What? And you're pulling your eyes up like your eyes are brighter
Not
and
the
bigger.
bottom, but like I feel like it should just be.
Oh well.
Sorry, that's just me talking out loud.
No, I hear you. No, your eyes are fine. You're very pretty, Ani.
Likewise. Well,
listen,
pretty,
I'd love to have you back on the podcast, Ani. Okay, and I really would like to say thank you for giving me this exclusive since you've never been on a podcast as a guest before. This is a Sketcho Show podcast exclusive with a debut by Ani Caribbean.
This was so fun. I really do want to do it again, but I don't know if I'd want to do this with anyone else because I don't think it'd be as fun.
Well, thank you so much, but I think you should give it a try. If somebody offers you, why not? You know?
I have to trust them.
Yeah, well, trust is hard to earn, but maybe somebody... thank you so much, and I trust you as well, Ani.
Thank you.
Lots of love, and I wish you only the best in your career that is evolving as we speak.
Thank you, and I'm going to have a podcast one day and give you your flowers.
All right.
But I want to give them to you right now, too. You're amazing.
Thank you so much,
You're
Ani.
a really great person.
Thank you. I hope you mean that.
I do. I would just say that.
All right, I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you again for being on the Sketcho Show podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
The Sketchomatic Show.
Too much information and shit, man.
Shut your mouth, essay.
Okay, bye.
Kissing myself in the mirror, like doing duck face or actually tongue kissing the mirror?
I mean, you can tongue it if you want, if it's clean, but if it's not clean, watch out. You don't want a dirty tongue.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a Ken. Like Gabby, Stacy, Nikki. All of the Barbies is pretty. All of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. Rad, but he's